The cheering is well-deserved. These video game creators worked hard for months to finally see their production go live. Two Falls, Nishu Takuachina was developed by Unreliable Narrators, an independent video game studio in Montreal. The game's composer and sound designer, art director, actors, and story writer are all members of various First Nations communities. The studio's goal is to make players reflect on today's society through rich storytelling, giving a voice to those who are too often ignored.
We wanted to meet this to talk about the 17th century history, where the French and Indigenous community meet their first meeting, and it's a very rich part of history that we don't hear often enough, and we thought there was a lot of things that we could dig in and tell with Two Falls.
Two Falls offers a powerful narrative that interweaves the journey of two young individuals. Jeanne, a young woman from France who shipwrecks in the New World, and Maikan, a young Innu hunter whose instincts tell him that something is disturbing the forest. Players will take turns embodying each character, discovering their unique realities and cultures. Iatse, who is Wendat, says through two distinct artistic directions and soundtracks, players will experience two ways of seeing, hearing, and feeling the world.
Yeah, I went with two different perspectives and I used different instruments for both of them. So for Jeanne, it was more like orchestral and with strings, and Maikan was more like with percussions, indigenous percussions such as the Hiandarqua, which was the hand drum, and the rattle is the Yastawansha. So I always use the same instruments for both of them, and I try to as well go in emotions, and you can somehow recognize from the melodies in both perspectives, you can recognize the same emotion, but it's different because I'm using different instruments.
Berthiaume says the same events can have very different meanings, which will lead players to question certain preconceptions and, in doing so, allow them to better understand Indigenous cultures.
It doesn't shy away from very sensitive themes and tackles with a lot of nuance, and it wants to make you think and understand and recognize what happened in the 17th century and the centuries afterwards.
The studio not only worked closely with Indigenous creative minds, but also approached a council of Innu and Wendat elders to ensure that the message was representative.
We have a council of elders who validated everything that we brought into the game, from messages, themes, historical accuracy, their culture, what elements we can show and what we cannot show. So they have been a very huge integral part of the production and creation.
Two Falls is now available for streaming and on Epic Games Store. Kim Sullivan, APTN National News, Montreal.